Hello, good evening, and welcome to another live show this week. Hello, welcome. It's Wednesday, it's 7 o'clock. It's time to meet another business hero. I'm Richard Wraith. This is the Business Hero Show, and today we're munching our fat asses through health and well-being when working from home. And of course, who better to talk about that than our own health and well-being coach and qualified health and well-being coach and qualified PT. So please give it up for Richard Turner. Yeah, get excited, folks. This guy's a good laugh. Welcome, Richard. How are you doing?
Hi, me. I want to move myself. Don't worry.
You what? Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, he was muted. He couldn't hear a damn thing. Good evening, Richard. How are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very, very well. Very well. I had a very, very good day. It's lovely and sunny outside, and everyone's probably feeling a little bit better than they have been for a long time.
Yeah, it's lovely outside.
Indeed. So I'm very privileged to have Richard joining us this evening. He's a wonderful chap. And in preparing for this show, we've had an awful lot of giggles and laughs. We probably have more fun preparing for the show than we have than going to do the show. So we've got some fantastic content to blast through tonight. Web Analysis says, good evening, I'm here. You know, YouTube has got an automated bot that's going around posting comments and stuff on people's videos. You haven't heard anything about this?
No, I haven't.
So if you're running YouTube videos, I'll just mention this because it just literally came up. This is a YouTube bot. There's another one called Tom as well.
Okay.
And if you look at videos, there's lots of comments from someone called Tom. And it just looked random one comment like that.
At least we know he's here.
Hang on. It's not a bot. It's Stefan. Stefan, you cheeky sod. Which Stefan is it? Who is Web Analysis? That's the thing now. We've got to work out which Stefan it is. Sorry, Richard, to jump all over that.
No problem.
I've just been looking around YouTube lately, and there is an automated bot called Tom that goes around YouTube posting on people's videos.
You're quite nice to meet Tom, actually.
Well, exactly. And Stefan, the hospitality guy. Why on earth has he called himself Web Analysis? That totally makes sense. I get it. Anyway, welcome, Stefan. It's good to have you back on with us again. And of course, Stefan. A nice big welcome to Neela, who will be on our show next week. Oops.
Hi, Neela.
Did I just say it out loud? Damn it. So much for secrets. It's wonderful to have her on anyway. It's nice to see that she's updated her YouTube picture as well. Fabulous stuff. So, joining us this evening, we've got Richard Turner, and he's from Employee Health. So, Richard, why don't you start by telling everyone a little bit about yourself and what it is you do exactly?
Okay. So, I am a qualified personal trainer and health and wellbeing coach. I started a company called Future You a year ago, the other side, which was a company which helped both individuals and corporate health and well-being, I suppose. I then just this week separated that company into two. One being an individual company, being Future You Personal Training, the other one being Employees Health. Employees Health has a few collaborative members, and we target corporate well-being or health and well-being through holistic services to improve companies' productivity, proactivity, health and well-being within their employees, basically.
Cool. Yeah, keep the employees happy and healthy, and they'll last and work a lot longer, right?
Exactly. I think people's aims are to stay healthy for longer and live longer, and be happy whilst doing it. I think people have been hard at work decreasing their quality of life, where I think that's shifted now, and the younger generation are more keen on living well, rather than earning lots of money and being in a position where they don't enjoy that.
Yeah, the queues at McDonald's now are full of 40-year-olds. I told you we're going to mess long.
So that's one thing I'm not upset with. McDonald's is closed. Doesn't
Yeah,
bother me one bit.
exactly. Yeah, it's quite nice having the temptation taken away from you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you just drive past now, it's just shut. It's like, oh, I can't go anything I wanted to now.
Although I do see the lights are always on.
Yeah, but much like myself, the lights are on, but no one's home. We are going to mess about a lot tonight, folks. We'll try and have as many giggles as we can because, let's face it, learning stuff, if it's fun, you'll learn more.
And what as well.
Yeah, and from what I've known of just dealing with Richard, I'll say dealing with him because, he's a bit of a giggle. He's a very nice chap, and he does like to enjoy he really does seem to enjoy what he does. And he's super easy to get on with as well. From the minute we started talking, it was like we'd known each other for a long time, wasn't it, Rich?
Yeah, it didn't take long to make a few jokes.
Yeah, the old bromance started straight away almost.
Yeah, it's easy when you got a friend like Robin Walker in the mix.
Yeah. God bless Robin Walker. Yeah. The bearded bromance.
100%.
So to crack straight into our first topic then, because I do tend to faff about and mumble a lot. So you guys are going to have to keep me in check. What does health and wellbeing actually mean?
So obviously I knew this question was coming, and I did your standard bit of research. Okay, and the web says health and wellbeing can be described as the achievement and maintenance of physical health and mental stability.
Oh, so it's a maintenance plan.
Basically, it's being able to stay healthy. But what I think is key is everybody's different. So understanding how to keep your health and well-being in check is the start.
Yeah, this sort of health and well-being, right?
But as you said, as I know, you like to go for your walk every day. So keeping your physical health on track is something you're aiming to try and do, right?
Yeah. I mean, from the waist down, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, but from the waist up, it's a car crash.
I've not seen them muscular legs yet then.
Well, I'm not going to show them because all the ladies have been knocking on the front door. They'll see where the show's been broadcast from. Go on. I do apologise as well because I know this comes up a few times with show guests and stuff. There is a bit of a delay between when I say something and when Richard says something, and things that go backwards and forwards. So it's not like a normal conversation where you can spot the gaps and have a conversation. You do actually accidentally end up talking over each other quite a lot, as I'm sure a lot of people have discovered now with virtual networking and stuff and Zoom. You do end up sort of with many people all talking at once accidentally, and then they'll go quiet for 10 seconds, waiting for the first one to jump in. It's difficult because of the lag, and with headphones and whatnot. So there is always going to be a certain amount of someone starts talking just as someone else does because you thought the gap was coming and they started. You get what I mean, right? So if anyone's watching this thinking, I wish you'd let Richard get a word in edgeways, I'm trying, but it's also trying to have a bit of a fun conversation as well. It's not meant to be a serious interview. This is not the BBC Hard Talk. Not yet. That's next week. So I just wanted to clarify that point up because I know a few show guests have mentioned it, and I know Robin's had a go at me for talking over the top of Tim Buick as well, and that was when he was sitting beside me. So it is a bad habit, and we're all learning, and it's one of the things I'm trying to. So at some point, Rich has got to say to me, "Oi, Rich, time out, shut up."
It's my turn now.
Yeah, he hit me with a foam roller, but I'll call the police on him for going out when he's not allowed to. So in terms of health and well-being, what barriers are there? Is there anything preventing that?
I think at the moment there's probably quite a few. I think the fact that we have to try and stay indoors, people can't. I've had to change their routines. Is quite a big one, because we're out, or normally in the normal world, we're out, going to work, set our routine up, and that's just been a constant variable in our lives. We have our weekend if you work a 9 to 5, and then you have that kind of periods where you can try and do your exercise or try and keep on top of your health.
Oh, I says try.
But that's it though, right? It doesn't just come easily. You have to put effort into it.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It is, and it's just recognizing. So I think the biggest thing that we have had to change is our routine. And I think that's probably our biggest barrier now, is trying to put that routine into place, which allows us to do our normal or things to help our health and well-being. And the fact that obviously we can't do the normal things, or probably the things you might want to do, whether that's going to a yoga class or whether that's going to groups, business networking meetings, because all them kind of things are social events where that might help. That might be your thing to improve your health and well-being. That's what the barriers we have in place at the moment. And the fact that
normal
everybody,
barriers. Sorry.
And the fact that everybody was stealing all the healthy foods, so you kind of had to make do with what you could grab. So you had to be a bit more realistic on them kind of terms as well, and how you're eating and the quality of food you're having.
Yeah, I mean, what sort of barriers would be if we eliminated the current situation?
If we eliminate the current situation, what would our barriers be?
Would we typically, do you find when you're working with people, what sort of barriers do you normally find come up?
I think what I find is the pressure of work. I think the high expectations of people's work life, having to go to work, having to be there for a long amount of time. Normally, people getting up early means a lack of sleep will affect how their brain works throughout the day. And then being seated for the whole day without getting any movement in, and then being sat in front of a computer screen, working for 8 hours minimum normally, are kind of things which will just get in the way of being able to put time towards yourself.
Like a pressure to perform at work and sort of sacrifice your health.
So you get the stresses of work, but then you also get the stresses of what going to work means as well. So as I said, lack of sleep has many effects on both your mental health, physical health, your food options and your food choices. And the fact that you're not moving, you're not getting your NEAT exercise up, and NEAT means kind of the amount of movement you do on a day-to-day basis. It's probably being reduced now if you're working. So they're the kind of barriers you have normally day to day. I also think it's just the awareness as well. So understanding and knowing how to improve your health and well-being as well.
Yeah, happy days. Would it be fair to say, because when I used to work in the city, because all of us we used to work for a big corporate company in the city, and one of the things that we found was, because food up there is so expensive, and probably in most town centres like Manchester and places like that, might be a similar story, but food up in the city costs so much that if you like, and this just occurred to me, that one of the barriers, would it be fair to say that one of the barriers is you sort of get priced out of the decent food into the sort of garbage market if you're not loaded?
Yeah, and I also think it's the understanding of what garbage food is, right, or healthy food is. And the fact that normally healthy food, you can still get quick, fast, healthy food. It's just the fact that for some people it might not taste as good. It might not be as easy to eat on the train. It might not be easy to eat on the move. So it's being prepared for that. I suppose coming from the background I do, food is one of my big key areas of what I concentrate on. So I'm always prepped. So finding preparation time to eat is quite key.
So it wouldn't be a good idea to try and toss your salad on the underground?
Probably not the greatest thing, especially when it's busy. Standing up trying to eat.
Hold that, mate.
Salad.
Hold this bowl for me.
Yeah.
Get the other thing is helping you chopping the tomatoes and stuff while you're going to work.
And the other thing you're talking about is people with the food choices. Is a lot of companies will have snacks at work. So I've been into places and they provide food, but the food they provide. The food they provide isn't a healthy option. It's Mars bars or cans of Coke or whatever they may be.
That's perfect. That's the perfect option. You just dunk your Mars bar in your Coke. It's happy days.
And I'm not saying I think everybody's allowed to choose the food they want to, but if you're not aware of what that means, then I think that's the key here. It's being aware of how to live healthy, the choices you make, and what the effects are of that. And And that's why we have the guys which do the workshops. We make it very clear and try to educate people around these choices.
Oh, so you do workshops for people who haven't really they're not clued up, as it were, on actually what the right choices are for the circumstances they're in.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I try to get with the team I've got is we try to educate, because we can all go in there and offer a service which tells people what to do, and that's fantastic for that split second. But once that's done. Whereas we can help educate and give people a service where they can go home, and it affects their home life as well as their work life and their life and their future as such. And that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Well, you're more motivated to get something done if you understand the reasoning behind it, aren't you?
Exactly. And if you know that's got high calories, and the food within that is not going to be the best for a section of, I don't know, your liver, or the way it affects your kidneys, blah blah blah, then you're more likely to make a better choice if you know what the better choice is.
Yeah, but those Mars bars taste so good.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree.
Well, that brings us nicely on to actually our second point. When you are working from home, how do you avoid staying the hell out of the kitchen cupboards all day? Because that choice now, you've got your own choice. You're ordering your groceries and they're turning out and they're in your cupboard 10 feet away. How do you just tackle this healthy eating when you're at home?
So I would say recognize when you do make your bad choices. And then when you make your bad choices, or when you're most likely to make your bad choices, then try to keep yourself busy. Because what happens is people eat badly when they're bored, or when they're in a position of, I'm just going to grab something quick. So the same again is creating a healthy lifestyle and healthy and a well-being lifestyle in this situation we're in now. Create a routine where you know what you can have, and put some healthy things in there. I'm going to go back to the same old government guidelines of 5 fruits and veg a day, and that's a minimum of 5 fruits and veg a day. So if you have a nice array of fruit or some veg, I'm not sure what kind of veg you could have as a snack, but if you have them options there as an option, that might help you. That might help that sweet taste. And if you're a savory kind of person, you have that savory need, then maybe find something which is kind of healthy, which you could go to, maybe like a boiled egg or something which is a little bit more savory as a snack, which might fill you up as well.
Or a Mars bar, not.
And I suppose
if you eat it in a salad, it's all right. It's fine, right?
I mean, yeah.
Chop it up finely.
I was speaking to one of the members of Employee Health today, and her husband or fiance has peanut butter with baked beans. And I thought that was a bit strange, and that just reminded me of that. I know. Hey, apparently it tastes really good, and I don't like knocking things until I tried it.
That sounds rank. That really sounds rank.
Hey, I'm not knocking it until I tried it.
Yeah, I mean, it might be wonderful, but I might have to have someone else prompt me to try it first.
I think
see if you throw up first.
I think one of the key things on talking about eating healthy is an understanding of what healthy is, I guess. And I suppose the key things we got to look at is reduction of the things which cause the unhealthy things. So spikes in high blood pressure, blah blah blah. So trying to reduce sugars. But the biggest thing when you're talking about food and the food you take, and you have to understand that food is an energy source, and it's about energy balance. And I don't know if you've heard this. It's probably something which you would have heard tons and tons of times. Is calories in versus calories out. And basically, if you burn more than you eat or you consume, then you're going to be in a deficit.
And then we look like you.
Yeah, I mean,
he says that's why I'm keeping the camera up here.
Exactly. The higher it gets, the better. If we're in that deficit or in a surplus, that's when we gain and lose weight. So healthy choices. If you're moving around, it gives you. If you're burning more calories throughout your day, it allows you to have maybe that true food you want. So it might be, okay, let's see if we can move more throughout our day, especially whilst we're at home and we have that opportunity to go for walks or be a bit more active if we can, that allows us to have that Mars bar or peanut butter and beans on toast. But it allows us to have those treats if we're expending them calories.
Yeah. Or as when I was training to become a cycling coach with the British Cycling, what do they call them now? It was a lot of British Cycling. That was the organisational name.
Oh yeah.
The instructor there, he was saying, think of it as this: crap in, crap out. And that was how he put it. And yeah, the whole classroom made exactly that face you just made. They're all sitting there like, oh, did he just say that?
But it's one of those things you're going to remember, though, right?
Yeah, it's straight to the point. But it's stuck, and that was the important thing. If you eat too much crap, you end up with a bum that's as flat as that from sitting on your fat arse all day.
And I suppose if you understand that concept, then the food within that is kind of up to you. You can choose your healthy choices, and they're going to help the way your body performs. But you can choose your bad choices, but knowing that your body is not going to perform to its full potential. So you have your options then. The biggest thing we need to make sure we aren't in an obese situation, because that's just as bad as that's worse than eating unhealthy.
Well, in the current situation, I think they said obese people are suffering with this virus way more than most. So it's
a health issue.
Any illness you're gonna, regardless of what it is, you're gonna suffer more with it if you're not in a good shape for your body to take care of it.
Yeah.
Stefan says, what do you expect to happen after lockdown? Do you think the corporate organisations will take well-being more seriously?
I think they're going to have to, and I think they will do. I'll be interested to see how, and I'd be interested to see whether there's anything put into place for that. I think there'll be a lot more working from home, which I think will help some people. But then I think there'll be a lot more freedom for people to go and participate in physical activities. Because the increase of physical exercise at the moment has been massive. People are understanding that to keep their sanity, getting outside in the sunshine, doing a walk, doing some exercise is a really key thing at the moment. Yeah.
I certainly hope that corporate organisations will take a big, long, hard look and realise that handcuffed to the desk is not the way to go. And it never has been. It never, ever has been.
Yeah. How many people, I've never had to work at a desk, luckily. I've always done stuff within training or well-being.
Happy days.
And I suppose one of the things I probably would like to know, and I see it all the time, but from people on here, is how many people about 2 o'clock feel really tired, and actually their productivity and their quality of what they're doing just drops. So I think it's really key that they begin to understand how people's bodies and brains work, to allow them to utilize what they do.
Yeah, you get that afternoon slump because you haven't been moving all morning, then you load up on calories at lunchtime, and your body just says, well, we're quite tired now. Yeah, the afternoon shift.
But, and obviously, as a wellbeing coach or a team of holistic helpers, we can't go into a company every day. But if we can educate people to and not just the people within that company, but the people with the powers that be, how this works and how people's health are affected, and how that affects productivity for the people, for their jobs or for their companies. And I think that's key as well.
Yeah, when you do these workshops with corporates, Rich, do you find that the big cheeses get involved as well?
Yeah, I think so.
As we talk about food.
Yeah. I mean, as a couple of workshops the guys have done, they've had their CEOs in there learning as well.
Awesome.
And some of the managers are going in there, then participating in some of the exercises and stuff I've done as well.
That's a good sign, isn't it? Because if those that be, the powers that be, are getting involved and learning as well, it makes it much easier for those working for them to get some leeway with their well-being.
Yeah, what I think is the companies which are buying into this most are the people with CEOs or managers which have an interest in this already.
Yeah.
So they're the ones which kind of buy into it and want to do it as well.
Well, yeah, because I can imagine it reduces their sick days for their staff as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is,
I can't remember. I can't remember the figures, but they're the three top reasons why people take time off work is sickness, mental health, and musculoskeletal issues. So pains, injuries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, injuries from not doing sod all day.
Yeah,
it sounds ridiculous, but actually, it sounds stupid. Like you got injured by doing nothing, but it's really real.
Yeah,
you can ache and hurt so bad from just not moving. The one thing your body's crying out to do, isn't it? Just get up and move around.
Yeah, just to move. Yeah. I don't think we're really designed to sit on a chair. No. We are designed to sit on our heels, as you probably see people do in India all the time. Or we're designed to stand and run and walk.
Yeah. Poor old Neela, she's very upset the gym is shut. Boo-hoo, tough. Get over it.
I know, we all are, don't worry.
Yeah. Where's that? I haven't got a cry baby one on here yet. I'm going to get one of those. Where's that little violin, Rich?
No, I think we're all in the same position. If you're a gym person.
Yeah. I used to like going to the swimming pool in the afternoon for a half-hour swim, and can't do that anymore. But at least the pool was a clean place, right? You couldn't catch a disease in a big bowl full of chlorine.
Maybe Trump should suggest that.
Yeah. I mean, it make your eyes bleed, but you wouldn't catch any viruses in there. That's because the staff don't know how to mix the chemicals properly. What they're looking to. Stefan says, they're looking to educate employees, healthier food, less drink, and more exercise. We're looking to.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I think that's
the one thing we'll pray for, I think.
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier on, I think it's about education. I think it's about how we help our employees or help the people learn more. And I think schools have done that or are getting better at that. But I think there's still more space to tell people and help people live more healthily.
Are schools still putting Coke machines in them now? Do schools still have Coke vending machines in them anymore?
I don't know. It's a long time since I've been to school, mate.
No, it can't be that long ago. Look, he's about 12.
I went
to school when they were still building it, but Richard, he's fresh out of uni. Still wearing nappies.
I wish.
Yeah, I know, right? He hasn't got any grey hair yet, so he's not old.
Right.
But yeah, I certainly hope that employee education is going to be part of an employee's what's the word? When someone progresses through a company and gets better and better and better and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a word for that. It just escapes me right now. But as part of your progression path through any company, your well-being within that environment should be part of that progress, not an afterthought or a day off sick.
Yeah, because I think when people take on bigger roles, their role increases. So the stress they have within that role is going to go up as well.
Yeah,
but I think if you start with a base, Stefan's talking about under education, healthy food, less drink, more exercise. Talking about that base education about how to live healthy, and that's without the mental health aspects of it. I think that's really key for the whole company, and giving them options as well. So when they're at work, they can have there's Apple choices there as well, or your fruit choices, or your healthy bar choices. I think that's key that they are supplying that as well.
Yeah. I assume Stefan means less that drink, right?
Yeah.
So the party drink.
Unfortunately,
in the pub.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much they're drinking. I think the culture of drinking with the younger generation now is definitely improving. And we are seeing that decline of alcohol abuse, but it is one of the biggest detrimental factors in health, in both. I think for me, in the whole aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few times when I used to work in the city, just back behind Oxford Street, and there was a few occasions where we were very much encouraged to go to the pub for lunch, and not for a Coke either, sort of, or not even just for 1 pint. It was, some people would come back and you could smell it on them as they were coming down the corridor before they'd even get anywhere near you. You're like, oh, there's a brewery around here somewhere. Oh no, it's the CEO.
And yeah, I mean, during work days is obviously during the day at lunchtime, it probably isn't going to be very productive for their work. And
well, your brain's in much while you're trying to work, isn't it?
Exactly. But I mean, just even afterwards, I'm not going to say you shouldn't drink at all, because I'd be a hypocrite, because I like to drink after my hockey games and on the weekends to socialise. But I think it's just recognising what that does to your health and how that affects both your mental health and the choices you make around food and your physical output as well.
Yeah. So if you go in a pub and you find the lorry drivers union are in there, panic.
Probably why I had an accident.
Carrots, celery, hummus. Is that right? Hummus.
Yeah,
I have no idea how those. Is there a correct way of saying that?
I'm not going to say yes. I'm going to call it hummus.
Yeah.
But I do think, I mean, they're great options. Actually.
They are good snack options. Yeah. Especially if you get a big old stick of celery, because you could spend an hour just chewing on the first inch of it.
Yeah. And there's minimal calories to it.
Not all. This is going to be cali racist now. Not all calories are created equal. Nutritious food can be calorific, like an avocado.
Yes, I agree with you. And I wouldn't say not have an avocado, but the expenditure system, or the energy expenditure system, still works the same. You can't eat 10,000. You can't eat 10,000 calories worth of good food and not expect to put weight on. But at the same time, the quality of
5,000 carrots later, Rich has gone bright orange.
The jaw rate,
like an avocado. I mean, avocado is great, but it's got quite a high fat content, isn't it?
Yeah, it's full of fat. In fact, I mean, the fats inside it are good, but you do need overall a full rounded diet. Yeah. As Neela says, there are good calories and there are bad calories, but calorie is still a calorie, and calorie over expenditure would
indeed
put weight on as such.
Everyone you eat, you got to get up and walk another kilometre around the block.
There you go.
Stefan says, would you reckon? I only read these out because on the podcast, people can't see this. So Stefan says, would you recommend establishing a weekly dining plan based on calories? And how do we know how many calories we burn when we're sitting in the office?
Would I recommend establishing a weekly dining plan? I would recommend tracking calories, because if you track calories, it gives you flexibility to live your life as you please, just within a calorie target.
So you can fill that number with whatever you want, rather than
and we always recommend, we want to get at least, if you're doing exercise, especially, at least 1.5 grams of protein, or the calories coming from protein into the body, and around that you can go crazy.
What is that per day?
Yeah, per day.
That's a tiny amount.
Yeah, for example, though, if I weighed 100 kilos, I would need to eat 150 grams worth of protein.
Okay.
Which isn't as easy as it sounds. If you're a keen exerciser, you're looking for 2 grams per gram or kilogram of body weight.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So how many grams are in a Mars bar?
Protein? About 1. Happy
days.
Yeah, the calories are so high, you're going to struggle to get any more food in.
Well, that's it, yeah. So it's like 99.99% fat and calories. Protein's this much. But how many calories we burn? Sitting in an office, it's basically the same as our normal daily calorie amount, right? Because we need, the average bloke needs 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day just to stay alive?
It varies. Between 2, yeah. Normally, a normal male burns, living a normal lifestyle, about 2,000 to 3,000 calories. if you download MyFitnessPal and add in the information in there and add in your sedentary and don't do any exercise around that, that will work out your calorie target from there.
Cool.
It's a really cool app. I recommend it for all my clients. It's just simple. You can also connect your Apple Watch to it and it tells you how many steps you're doing. That will also calculate calorie burns as well.
Guilty as charged.
There you go.
Yeah, I've used MyFitnessPal as well. I found it to be a very, very good way to give up smoking.
Yeah, you were saying yesterday.
Many years ago, when you give up smoking, you know, after you eat, you're looking for something to do, and the normal habit becomes eat and then go for a cigarette. And if you turn the go for a cigarette into sit there and work out what you've just eaten, it's very, very easy to break that habit because you just totally distract yourself.
And if you're a goal-focused human being as well, I think that's quite good as well because it gives you something to look at and set goals to.
Yeah, well, it starts to give you a picture of what the hell you're putting into your body as well. So
and you begin to respect the food you're having as well.
No. Nom 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 Mars bar. At least now you know how many Mars bars you can shove in there before you've got to go around the block.
He says, how do you know how many calories you burn sitting down? And I suppose that's a tough one. And as I said, the only way you would do that is through a Fitbit or like a tracking thing.
I would assume because you're sat on your arse all day, it's going to be the same calories as the daily recommended sort of government guidelines, isn't it? Because you're not moving.
Yeah.
So whether you're at work or at home.
So normally it's done on a BMR, and BMR is basic metabolic rate, and that's going to set off of you laying down. By the time you got up and moved around and fidgeted and stuff like this, it all burns calories. So there would be an option in MyFitnessPal where you said, okay, I'm sedentary, I don't do much, I don't do any exercise, I don't walk anywhere, blah, blah, blah. And that's how you kind of figure out how much more than just laying down you do.
Yeah, awesome. So that app's really good. And obviously, I'm quite sure that should Richard turn up at your office one day, it's one of those things he can obviously show you and help you get it set up and I'd say walk you through it, but that would be more exercise, right?
Yeah, it's really simple. Just there's not really much needed to it. To go in there, put your details in.
It's quite
it won't tell you the quality of foods and the information around all that kind of stuff. But it does just put you on a base level of, okay, I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm trying to maintain, I'm trying to put weight on. It's just a simple way to look at that way.
Yeah, that's what partners are for, to tell you whether you're doing good or bad. Put that bar of chocolate down immediately. It's mine. So that's all. That's what the hell would It's very difficult to keep a track of what you're talking about when these questions keep popping up. So to all of you watching, shut up. Stop asking stuff. We should just do a pre-recorded one. Then they can't ask questions while we're going along. Neela says if you're more generally active, then you can base your calorie burning rate. Yeah, your metabolic rate will be higher if you're a much more mobile person. Yeah,
and also if you have a higher muscle, more muscle as well, more muscle volume. So if you're in the gym, this is the reason why we recommend lifting weights over cardio, because it increases your metabolic rate. So when you're doing things throughout the day, you're at a higher metabolic rate of burning more calories by doing nothing, in theory.
Oliver's just raised a very good question. Good to have you with us tonight, Oliver. Possibly first time we've had you on the show with us.
Yeah, Ollie's one of my friends, actually.
He's a planter, a plant in the audience. Good one. So Oliver says, what would you recommend for somebody who is stuck indoors without a garden to keep active to help keep their mental health under control?
That's a pretty good question. I think talking about routine and setting some time aside to do some home exercise, whether that's a routine of stretching or some yoga, or whether that's like a higher intensity type of exercise. And I'd also recommend, if you're working from home as well, separating your work room to your relaxing room. I think there are a couple of kind of key points where if you can set that time aside to do something and stay away from working and home, then I think that's quite key as well.
maybe set yourself some goals when you go for that bit of exercise each day.
Yeah, and try to maybe increase. I know obviously Ollie's one of my good friends. So he's running 3 times a week, trying to improve that each time. He's trying to get a bit further and trying to improve that time as well. So they're the kind of things. If you are stuck indoors with no garden, try to get outside. If you can't get outside that often, set yourself some time inside to do some exercise. And maybe look at doing some mindfulness or some meditation, some time where you just breathe and just try to relax and de-stress the brain.
Happy days. I can actually recommend a couple of good apps for that. If you've got a smartphone, there's the Nike Fitness app. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Stupid question. Of course he has. That one's tough. If you try, they've got an exercise on there where they call it a gentle exercise to work out how fit you are. That exercise damn near killed me. They're like, this should take 6 minutes. 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the floor. Call the ambulance.
But that's
you ever going to finish that? No, I'm dying. So that's a good one to aim for.
There's tons of really simple kind of home stuff you can do, and you can either find them through influencers on social media, or you can come to us at Employee Health and myself. But there are bits to do, and if you're not one for exercise indoors where it's kind of a traditional exercise, then try to go outside. Try to give yourself that hour you're allowed to go for a walk, get some fresh air, have some time by yourself or with a partner where you can just kind of wander and de-stress as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even setting yourself an alternative task whilst you're out on your exercise. So, for example, instead of your trip out during the day being to get some exercise, you could take a camera with you, and your daily exercise could be to get as many nice photographs as you can, so that you're not focusing on the walk, you're focusing on the photographs. And then when you bring them back, you've got something to reflect on and sit and look at edit your photographs. So it's a continuation of your time outside, if you like.
Yeah, and I suppose the nice thing about that suggestion is that you aren't thinking about the stresses you have at home. If you're trying to de-stress the brain and get the brain away from that, wherever it is you have at home, then taking that kind of look on it is a really great way of doing that as well.
Yeah, even just the smartphone camera takes as many abstract photographs as you can. You look up the word abstract. It's a bizarre style of photography. And just when you get home, you've got something to edit and play with and share with photography groups online. So your exercise becomes an actual focal point of something you carry on later that day or throughout the week. So it's a good way if you can give your exercise an alternative purpose. Or today I'm going to go and find out where all the pizza shops are, so that when we're out of lockdown, I can go and stuff my face.
And the other
and even Richard's not looking.
I always know. The other suggestion I would make on Ollie's question was a couple of my clients do paint by numbers.
All right.
So it's quite relaxing. I believe it's quite a relaxing method of switching off and just concentrating on that one thing. And I know a few people which suffer with a few mental health issues, and they use that kind of technique of doing either that on your phone where you're painting something or doing a painting of, as you said, paint by numbers. So something where you're taking your brain away from maybe that stress of living on top of your partner, living on, I don't know, it could be anything.
Yeah, tripping over the kids every 5 minutes. But if you can take the exercise or the thoughts of the need for exercise out of the exercise itself and turn the exercise into something with a different purpose.
It might make you more motivated as well.
Yeah, you might even find a nice hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
But crikey, we could be here all night talking about this. We'll be here till midnight. I've just looked at the time. I'm like, oh my God, we've only got to point 2 out of 11. Long night, folks. Not really. So moving on then, one of the things that I wanted to hopefully try and cover as well, just in a loose form, because neither one of us are experts, right, in ergonomics. I've only learned through experience, and And I'm told Richard, he tells me he's not an ergonomics expert. He's not one of these people who comes in with a tape measure and checks if your desk's the right height to the nearest millimeter. But it's certainly something that when you're working from home, a lot of people are going to be underprepared for. That's something I can probably guarantee. There's going to be a lot of people working from kitchen tables, kitchen chairs, things that are not designed to plant your backside on for 8 hours straight at a time.
No.
And certainly, I mean, I see my wife doing it. She takes her laptop into the kitchen and she's sitting at the table and her elbows are like this, and where she's trying to reach the keyboard with both hands. And you think, oh God, that's going to ache if you sit like that. So if you're going to set yourself up from home, one of the things that I would recommend is that you should invest in two things. One is a decent chair to sit on, because your arse will thank you for it, and so will your back. This one comes from, what's that say? Secret Labs. So this is a gamer's chair. So this is what all the fat kids have been sitting on for hours and hours and hours every day. So this is really every single piece of this chair moves. Every arm goes up, down, in, out, this way, that way, and they twist as well. So every single direction you can think of, everything moves, and it locks into place. But it stays. What's the word? It's not rigid, you know. So if you move your arm around, the arm will move with you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a second skeletal exoskeleton, if you like, to support you.
Yeah.
So get yourself a decent chair. That's number one, and they're not cheap. A decent chair is sort of $250 plus minimum for a decent one, or you can look online for a 24-hour operator's chair, and they're very specifically designed, and the seats of them are normally at least that thick, if they're not cold molded memory foam. And the second one is get yourself a decent bloody keyboard. Get yourself something like a little gel pad for your mouse, so that you don't bust your wrist, because your wrist will hurt after 8 to 10 hours a day of your mouse. And if you're using a laptop from home, get a proper keyboard. Don't use your laptop keyboard, because it will encourage you. The natural position you find yourself in when you're using a laptop is your shoulders will hunch over like this, and your back will hunch over, and your elbows will be pulled in more, where you're trying to get your hands almost next to each other. That's like Michael Jackson. Do you like that? So those are the two things I would say anybody, because I've been out to customers' offices and we're the ones that work from home, and their setup ergonomically is dreadful. Neela's guilty of this. Laptop on the kitchen table. I've seen her do that.
I can't say much. I'm on a swivel stool.
Happy days. It keeps you moving, right?
Yeah, I do most of my work from standing. I find that keeps me up, keeps me fidgeting, it keeps me in a position where I'm not hunched as much.
Yeah, and one of the things I've read about a lot of, but I'm not brave enough to try it because it looks like hard work, and I'm frightened of hard work, is these great big inflatable balls that they have in the yoga studios. Yeah. The basketballs for giants.
Yeah.
Sit on one of those, and because you'll notice that Richard keeps moving around. He's not. It's almost like he's fidgeting, but he's sitting on a stool that doesn't have a back to it.
Yeah.
So it's naturally, your core stability is constantly encouraged to keep on the move.
Yeah.
She's going to get me later for that. I'm up to 6 so far. Oh Jesus. She does not karate, kickboxing. So yeah, Neela.
How does she?
So if you don't see me on next week's show, you know why.
Yeah, you got to be nice.
I'm a dead man.
What did Neela say?
She said I'm up to 6 left hooks now. Every week I'm taking a mickey out of her.
I didn't see. You put a note up. I didn't see what she said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, she says she's going to get me later for that. You're up to 6 left hooks so far. But she says Richard, so that could be you as well,
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I've done top setter.
Yeah, you're in it too, man. We're all in this together. But let's crack on with our. We don't want to keep everyone up all night.
Go on. The only thing I would say on the ergonomics is think about how your body should naturally sit and naturally be. See, if we talk about good posture, we think about being tall. And probably the cues I would say is imagine you've got a string attached to the back of your head or where your crown is on your hair, and then just pull that string up and sit tall. Pull your chest up to the sky, and then just relax the shoulders. And then from there, try to keep that position.
Yeah.
And that's when you're both standing or sitting. You might have to put your hands up higher if you're standing. And then try and keep your keyboard or your laptop in an eye level position, so you're not bending from the chin. Yeah. They're the key things. If you can get that in your sitting position, then you're partly there for winning, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get yourself a proper screen as well, and the top of your screen should be level with your eyes, so that you're not looking up at it straight, which will strain your neck. And you don't want it too low, because if you're looking down at it again, you'll be encouraged to hunch.
Yeah.
So keep the top of your screen at about the level of your eyes. And for the average person, 70 centimeters is the right height for your desk. Yeah. For the average person. I've seen some desks where people have got them out of IKEA and they didn't realize the legs could extend. And the desk is like a kid's school desk. It's all the way down by the floor. What are you going to do with that? Is that a stool? Or they take the legs and they pull them out as far as they can, and like, the desk's up here, and you're like, okay, this is a standing desk, right?
I suppose probably the last thing, obviously, talking about the upper body, because that's what we normally think about when we're sitting, because of the fact we hunch. The other thing is our hips. And the reason we get bad back normally comes from the fact we have tight hips. And if we sit down all day, the area we get stiff is our hips. So one of the suggestions is when we're sitting is to have our seat higher than our knees. So our bum and our hips should be higher than our knees.
Oh, okay.
And that will help encourage a less tight hip position. So imagine if your knee is in this position for the whole time, that's going to get stiff and that's going to pull your hips out of position. That's when your back hurts.
Or you're going to fart a lot. Or both, you know.
What you do in your spare time, which is up to you.
Hey, you know, it's just things you learn working from home, right, and working from an office. Yeah, so that, you know, just some pointers to look out for. Speaking from experience as well. But shifting swiftly on from ergonomics, because I really want to get to the stuff that Richard sent me, because it's really, really good. Where the hell has it gone? Creating healthy habits from working from home. Is there anything we can add to that? I
think we've spoken about quite a few stuff already. The key things for me are creating a routine. Because I think if you have a routine, especially at the moment whilst we're at home, as you know, and every time I've spoken to you, you've been in that chair, you work too much, and it's very easy to say, oh, I haven't gone to work, I haven't taken that time for the commute, I'm going to carry on sitting in front of my desk working for longer. So I think it's really important that we set a routine for when we're going to work and when we're going to switch off, when we're going for our exercise, when we're going to go for our walk, when we're going to have our lunch, when we're going to have our snack. Getting up, moving around throughout our day, not just sitting in front of a computer for 4 hours, making sure you're drinking enough water, enough fluids. And kind of things will get you up and about, will stop you from sitting in a one position for the whole time. And will hopefully help someone listening here as well.
You'd hope so. And so, yeah, because that pretty much, a lot of what we've been talking about actually is the basis of forming those healthy habits anyway, right?
Yeah, I think, and that's it. And I think one of the things which routine does help for is that motivation to do them kind of healthy habits. If it's in your schedule or your weekly schedule, then you're very much more likely to go and do that task, whatever that task may be, whether that is they're going to have an apple at 11 o'clock. And maybe, I don't know, a glass of milk or whatever it is, or to go for a 5-minute walk around the block, to go outside and get some fresh air. But if it's in your diary to do that and there's nothing else around it, you're going to get up and go and do that because you know that's in your schedule.
Yeah. Happy days. So one of the things that I really wanted to get to, because this is the fun stuff now, it's where you can actually get up and do some stuff. Let me just bring this up here. That one there. Show that. There we go. So, I know, right? I made it all look fancy for you.
Thank you.
Covered my hands in paint and just went all over the screen. So one of the actual things that Richard does as well is when he goes into offices and stuff, and he's not just someone who's going to stand there and lecture the CEO. That's not what you're about, is it, Rich?
No.
Not all the time. Not when you're beating him with a baseball bat. You will do more sports. It's all well and good telling people, but sometimes you need to show them as well, right?
Yes.
So let's ditch this off the screen here so that everyone can see it. And Richard sent me some of these, so hopefully I'm just going to hit the next button and Richard can tell you all about this.
Okay, well, hopefully these are in order. These are just a few stretches which I've put together to help mobilize. So if you're feeling a bit stiff through the shoulders, it's a couple of exercises to move and hopefully create some movement in the shoulders. It's kind of hard talking through pictures. This is basically sat in a stationary position. If you want to open that screen up for me, Richard, then I can kind of demonstrate this movement.
That's a good one. If I do that,
there you go.
There you go.
Okay, so this stretch basically is to get the shoulders moving, hopefully build some strength in the back muscles and stuff like that to help us from slouching. Okay, normally one of the areas we do feel quite stiff in is in the shoulders. So all you would do is sit here, keep that tall position. Think about that string pulling our head up nice and tall. Okay, keep our arms straight, one hand to the side, and then we're going to lift arm up. We're going to turn the hand away, and we're just going to pull the arm around. You can see how that's stretching out the front of the chest, front of the shoulder, background. Okay, making a big arm circle, taking the time with it, trying to pull the shoulder and reach the whole time. As you can see, that's stretching the muscles in my shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good to open up your chest, right, and get your shoulder mobile.
Shoulders, building the strength in the shoulder, move in the shoulder rather than just being in this hunch position the whole time.
Or reach the box of Mars bars behind you.
You're in that Mars bar.
He's going to kill me when he sees me, I swear to God. We eventually get out of this lockdown. The scary thing is he can run a lot faster than I can. So
I've got long legs.
Oh, yeah. So next one.
There's a couple more.
What if we do that? Is that easier? So everyone can see us and the picture.
Yeah,
and then you can see them as well. So that's the second part of the maneuver you were doing, right?
Yep. Keep going. Same thing.
Cool.
Okay, this is another one. So this is so your spine is obviously made to move and made to rotate and flex. Okay, so this is part of the movement we're going to try to look at. Really simple. So you can do it at your desk, sit nice and tall. Same thing. Plumb line nice and high. Cross your arms. Okay, pull your chest up, and all we're going to do from here is just rotate the shoulders and head as far as we can. Hold that, take a nice big breath. And as you breathe out, see if you can rotate a bit further and then come back to center.
Do you ever hear anyone go click when they do that?
Yeah, I mean, I do it a few times. There's another one which is a really nice one, which I don't think is on there. Similar kind of thing. Hold the outside of the opposite knee, and then you're just going to twist the arm up and back down. It's a really simple one. That's a really nice one. I always get click in that one.
Good Lord. All right, next one. Is that part of the same one or something?
That's the first one.
Cool.
Same one.
That one.
Okay. So this is my favorite stretch of all time, especially for people which are sat at desks the whole time, because we always overlook our hips. And this stretch is known as the couch stretch. You can find this all over YouTube, all over social media. This is made to stretch the hips out and put them hips back into a normal, natural position.
Right.
If you do this correctly and you try to tilt your pelvis round, then you're going to get a nice stretch through the hips. If you go through, there should be some pictures of me lifting my arms up, I hope. There you go.
Yeah.
The idea of lifting the arms up stretches the stomach out and where some of our hip flexors are in or attached to, and that kind of helps pull that stretch further. There should be one more when I'm leaning over to the side. There you go. And that will help alleviate that kind of stretch or make that stretch a bit more further as such. And that will help possibly, and I found this with people which come to me with bad back, I get them to do this as homework. Normally within a week, 2 weeks, so that bad back is beginning to go.
Yeah. So this isn't on the front cover of Vogue magazine in absence of David Beckham or anything.
Showing too much skin, that's what I think.
Well, it does look like you just need a pair of sunglasses now and a roller outside, you know. He's not stretchy, he's just showing off.
Yeah.
This one.
Okay, This is another hip one. This is targeting our glutes. Obviously, sitting down all day, some of our tightness within our rotators and our hips can get quite tight. So all we're going to do is put across the body and go into 3 different sections of it. First off, as you can see now, pushing my knee down and I'm stretching through the side of the hip. Okay, and then I think hopefully the next one I'm now leaning forward into that.
Oh yeah.
As you can see, intensifying that stretch once more. And then as the last one, I think I'm then going into. Is that
good for your back to do that?
This will be good for your back as well. It's creating that movement, but we're stretching out the hips, and the hips kind of are the biggest thing for the back into a bad position. And you can see there is this last one I'm rotating again, but keeping them hips tight as well.
That looks really difficult to actually rotate like that with your leg in that position as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be the easiest one. This is the hardest of the 3.
Happy days. So next one we have.
Okay, this is a core exercise. To keep our back strong, we have to build a core which is going to support that. This here is the start of an exercise which builds that strength through the cross sections. Our body works in a cross section, so our back works from our left hip across to our right shoulder. But obviously the other side we call it cross section. And so this, as you see, if you extend to the next one, you should see me extending. Oh no.
Oh.
Keep going. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
This is it. As you can see, I'm extending both the upper body and the lower body, and that's going to build that core strength. I'd recommend doing this exercise every day. Do 10 reps each side, once or twice.
Happy days. I bet it gets a crunch on out of a few spinal discs, huh?
You're not going to get, hopefully you shouldn't get too many crunches. This is more building that strength. This is stabilizing the spine.
Happy days. This is why I'm not a chiropractor.
And if you go back, there's these kind of couple of exercises which are all based around that spine health and that core strength. So that's, if you go on to the next one, these aren't obviously in order. So side plank builds that strength as well, because it stops you from working on them cross sections again. That
is a really, really bloody hard thing to do.
Yes, the next one I think is
really freaking difficult. Anyone who's ever tried it will know what I'm talking about, and anyone who hasn't is looking at it going, "Oh, you pussy, that's easy." It's really not.
If you do that correctly and hold that for 20 seconds, it's not easy. No. This is a shorter version, but it works the glutes a lot harder, and you have to look at your glutes and your bum as part of the core. This is another reason to do that.
Oh, so your core is not just literally to where your back stops.
No, your core isn't just your abs. Core kind of works from chest and maybe a little bit higher down to your bum, bottom of your bum. Good hip flexors, and you got everything else attaching to that core as well.
Happy days. Alrighty. Next one.
Yep. Next. So that's the extended version. So it's like the opposite version of the one laying on the ground. This obviously you can see directly affects the back side of the core. The glute strength, back strength, core strength.
Happy days. Richard's office was 3 foot shorter before he did this exercise. He just pushed the wall out a bit further. And if you do that too, your office can be longer too.
Now you can tell I'm 6'4".
Well, this is it. It's like, bloody hell, it's quite a stretch. Cool. And
this is called child's pose. As you can see the stretch in the back. It's a really nice way and this is also linked to a reduction in stress. So this is a really nice one. Just sit in for a couple of minutes and just breathe and just relax and let the body do its thing.
Just let yourself go floppy, right?
Yeah, it's just relaxing. I always talk about breathing when we're doing our stretches. So it's a really good thing in here where you actually get a chance to concentrate on that. Breathing's a really a nice thing which is connected to how our brain works and some of those brain patterns, reducing some of that stress.
Happy days. You have to tell me if you want to say next. I'm just guessing.
So this is, I think it's probably the last one. This is just helping some of that extension. So imagine all day we sit this way. We sit in this rounded position. This is just trying to help extend the back. As you can see, there is a towel underneath my chest,
Mm.
I should have used some kind of towel, but that's just trying to help pull that chest into a better position. Same as the last one, I would just hold that stretch for 2 minutes, just breathe. Another stretch, this is called a crucifix stretch. This is helping stretch the QL, which has got a really weird name, which I'm not even going to attempt online. But this is a nice one just to alleviate some of that stress for the lower back if you're feeling it in there. Same thing as a stretch. So hold that stretch for at least a minute, concentrate on your breathing, try to relax as much as you can.
Happy days. Next.
Yep.
Cool.
That's the start of it.
Is that the start of it? And then that was the...
Yeah.
I saved all the pictures in the wrong order.
And this is the most intense version of that couch stretch. It's the same thing as what you saw earlier on.
This is what Richard does on a Saturday night.
Oh, my party.
Yeah. He's staying alive. Oh dear. That actually, if you do it quick enough, looks like a bad meme, doesn't it?
Doesn't look great, does it?
It's a 2-slide GIF instead of 8. But yeah, that one, I was trying to find, there was another picture that goes with that. There you go. That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, the side. If you see it from the side, you can see how I'm trying to pull my hips around, and my bum isn't close to my heel. Sorry. That's how you get the stretch in the hip rather than the stretch in the quad.
You cutting back on expenditure for socks?
I took my slippers off, so you got to be proud of that.
That sock budget has gone down. You know, if you like tattoos as well, what you could do is take Richard's pictures and just get them all drawn on your arms like he does. That way you don't forget any of this stuff. You know,
every morning I do that. It's hard work.
Yeah. Is that the same one? I went forward a bit.
Yeah.
There we go. There's some people.
There you go. This is a fair trade. I did this move class, working on kind of stretching them out.
Getting them off their backsides and getting them moving around a bit.
As I said, the couch stretch or this hip stretch is one of my favourite stretches. So it's always going to be a staple of all the exercises I do. Yeah,
it does look like it's quite an easy one to topple over if you get it wrong. You ever seen anyone topple over?
Yeah, I've seen. No one's ever toppled over. They usually move their feet and stay after. I know what you mean.
Face plant the ground really quick. I would. I'd be the first one for.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I know, right? You've seen how top heavy I am.
It's all that muscle, Arnie.
They've got to keep the Mars bars somewhere, and that's that. That's awesome. So that's just some of the stuff that Richard does in the corporate world as well, encouraging employees to stay in shape.
And you can see how you can do those stretches in an office. Like you only need a bit of space to be able to do that.
Happy days.
Unfortunately, I haven't taken tons more in different offices. People don't normally want their photos plastered everywhere. So
so hopefully those people are okay with that. Otherwise, we're in big trouble.
They signed some GDPR stuff. Don't worry.
Awesome. So that pretty much really. Have we got any questions? No questions. Excellent. How long do we need to hold those positions? Like you said, about a minute for each one.
Yeah, you're looking for a minimum of a minute. Anything from a minute onwards is when you're going to make a lasting improvement on a flexibility. And that's only ever going to work with flexibility. It's going to be more of a short-term thing unless you carry on doing that. Build better mobility, get to work in that, and try and build the strength around that as well.
Yeah, if a minute's too much, then probably just as much as you can cope with until you can build up to that, right?
Yeah, these stretches shouldn't be too bad. The only stretch I would say you probably wouldn't last a minute in is the couch stretch. Then if that's the case, bring the foot lower or take the knee further away. But you're looking to, if you want to make a lasting improvement, you have to put it in there for longer than a minute, really.
Yeah, and do them regularly too.
Yeah. Put that as your routine. If that's your aim to improve your flexibility, it's got to be a part of your routine. Happy
days. Right. Well, unfortunately, 8:10. Richard wants to go and have his dinner. Dunk his Mars bar in his whiskey, and and that's pretty much. Oh, what? Sorry.
Butter and beans on toast.
Yeah, beans on toast with peanut butter, right?
We haven't done before you close off. We haven't done top tips.
Yeah. So before we go, it is time for. I need someone to do me a jingle that says, a 5-second jingle of top tips. That would be awesome. So before we disappear for the evening, Richard has compiled his not 6 top tips. That's just point number 6. So top tips, do's and don'ts.
So yeah, I put 5 together because you told me 5. I could have done loads and loads on this, but the key things, and these are kind of backed by the government's suggestions. We're looking for a minimum of 2 liters worth of water a day. You think about the body is made up of 75% water, so you can see why we need to consume that much. For our brain to work well, we have to do that. We need a minimum of 8 hours sleep every night. A lot of people will overlook the importance of sleep, but sleep is probably our biggest pillar in our health and well-being. So let's put some time to that, especially whilst we have some time where we don't have to do that commute. Put some time away every day to do some sort of exercise, whether that is just some stretching, going out for a walk, something where you might increase your heart rate, and that will help the brain and help the body. Create a routine. Make sure you stick to your routine, put that in your schedule. That's going to help you stay more productive and motivate you to do the things you need to do throughout your week. And the last one's very appropriate for now, except that the world we're in at the moment isn't the normal. So accept the fact you can have bad days, you can have good days, except that if you want to stick in your pajamas all day, you're allowed to do that. Don't look at yourself bad for doing that. Just accept the fact that that's allowed. And I think that's kind of...
Yeah, but don't do it in Sainsbury's, all right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you like. You can go and do that. That's you. But what I would say is...
Don't be on the people of Walmart website.
Yeah, on that comment of sticking in your pajamas all day, if for like myself, I'm a very active person. If I keep staying by being active, sitting in my pajamas and not doing anything all day is not going to help me mentally. So recognize what keeps me sane, and then go and do that.
Well, part of a healthy habit, get up, get dressed.
Yeah,
puts you in the right mindset to go and do something, doesn't it?
It's one of those habits, right? And that's part of that schedule. But as I said, I think it's accepting the fact if that's not what you want to do for that day, then there's no stress if you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you can have a day off every now and then, right?
Exactly. Especially at the moment, we don't give ourselves any day off.
Every day off now. Yeah, happy days. Was that 5 already?
Yeah, 5.
Holy crap! See, he's good at what he does, isn't he?
Exercise.
Yeah, he's educated us all tonight, and we actually probably haven't realised how much education we've had.
I hope I helped a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a wonderful fellow. He's very funny to work with and talk to. And what he does actually is probably one of these things that actually it might sound like a bit of a new fad now, where, health and well-being in the workplace, but it's no different to in 10 years' time it would just be the norm.
Yeah,
it should be. Everyone should be doing this sort of stuff.
It started to take an increase last year in 2019. And I think if we didn't have this coronavirus situation, sorry, I said the C word.
That's it, cut him off. Show's over.
We didn't have that. 2020 would be the year where we would have implemented more stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, especially now we've got numbers and figures on how many, what's the biggest cause of staff disappearing and costing us money.
Yeah, now it's in the BBC as well. BBC are recording the effects of improving your employees' health and well-being.
Yeah.
It's only going to improve.
Absolutely. Need to tash. What does he say? Okay, I'll put this up on the screen because I think he's just mashing the keyboard too much. I think that was meant to say dash.
Yeah.
But he's just pounding the keyboard too much. Need to dash, buy and hear soon. See you soon. Best wishes to Richard T. Yep. Thanks a lot for joining us, Stefan. It's wonderful to have you with us every week when you can make it. He's a wonderful show guest. He's a nice guy too if you ever talk to him on the phone. He's a hospitality expert, so I'm hoping to con him into coming on the show soon.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so that's it, folks. If we haven't got any more questions or comments or anything we'd like to ask Richard, then all we can do really is thank him very much for giving up his time so generously. It took a lot of preparation to get to the point where we can put a 1 hour show together. And then we just pissed about and lasted an hour and a quarter. I know, right? This is where it's your fault, because I told you, you've got to keep me in check. You've got to keep me in check. You've got to say, stop talking and let me finish. Or stop rambling about Mars bars. So give it up for Richard. Thank him very much for his time. Well-deserved round of applause. He's been an absolute fantastic guest to have on, and I certainly hope he'll join us again soon in the future. In fact, saying that, he'll be back in 2 weeks when he's going to be talking about something even more fun. And he'll know to tell me to shut up next time. So we'll see Richard again in 2 weeks' time, and I shall see you all next week with Neela and Joanna. So stay safe, have a great week, and give it up. Jump up and down on your sofas for Richard, and as long as they don't break them. And we'll see you again at 7 o'clock next week, folks. Say goodbye, Rich.
Hey guys, take care. Have a lovely evening.
Bye.